Another day in the books. Just driving some equipment back to the house today. Got to work with a good friend of mine today. He owns another tree service, and it started making me think about the conversation we had about networking. So obviously, networking is important. We already talked about why, and having different people from different fields of life in your back pocket is a good thing. But I think something as owners in general that we all fail to realize is that people in our industry, in our competitive market, they're good people to have as friends too. So yeah, we're going to bid against each other. Me and the guy that I was working with today, we bid against each other quite a bit. But he's a good dude. I trust him 100%, and he trusts me, and we look out for each other. We help each other out when we can. But we also know that, you know what, we're going to be bidding against each other, and maybe I'll get the job, maybe he'll get the job. That's part of life. That's part of the, that's part of the business. But what I see a lot in my field, and I'm sure all you guys see in yours as well, is that there's a lot of hostility between business owners in the same field. And that leads to a lot of cutthroat activities going on, let's just put it that way. So one thing I really think that you need to do is you need to reach out to the other guys in your area. In my case, I'm a tree service operator, so I reach out, when I first got into town, I reached out to every single other tree service I could find, and I introduced myself and said, hey, I'm new in town, I want to develop a good relationship with you. And almost all of them immediately got defensive and pretty much shot me down. The guy that I'm with, the guy that I do quite a bit of stuff with right now, he's probably the most skilled guy in the area, and he is very trustworthy. So what ended up happening was, at first he probably figured I was like one of the other guys as well, and he was really tentative around me. But we slowly fostered that relationship, and now we hand each other work all the time. And in some instances, I don't have the time, or he offers the ability to do payments, I don't, something like that. We hand jobs off. The other thing too is, and this is something that the deeper you go into the business, the more you're going to realize, and as your business grows, you're going to find out as well, some jobs are no longer profitable at different levels that you're at. So, for example, right now, the way I'm set up, I can take I really am a medium-sized job guy. Anywhere between 1 to 10 trees. That's where I usually can come in the most competitive and pick up the most jobs. There's another guy in our area that, I don't have a bad relationship with him, I don't have a great relationship. It's not like he hands me work or anything, but pretty much when I get above 10 trees, he starts to be more competitive than me. He can just do it cheaper. Maybe not better, but he can do it cheaper. And then you've got the one-man show guys, the ones who can go in there and they can knock out the $100, $200 jobs, and that's what they're living on every day. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's where we started off at. But you're going to have that variation in jobs, and what you have to start realizing is that if you have a network of guys at all of those levels to where you can start handing work off to, then they're going to start handing that work off to you as well. So when they get that medium-sized job that maybe isn't profitable enough for them, or they're just too booked, well, they hand that off to you. If you got that small job, you hand it off to your smaller guy. If you got that big job, you hand it off to the guy that can take the really big job, just because you either don't have the equipment or you don't have the time. But that's something that's overlooked in the industries, and something that you really need to focus on starting to develop, because those relationships, ultimately, those are going to be the ones that save you down the road, because they're the ones who have the equipment you need, they're the ones who have the employees you need. Maybe they start to downsize, maybe they go out of business. Well, now you may have a great climber you can work with, you may have a great operator you can work with, and if you've got a good relationship with those guys, then ultimately it may benefit you in the future.